Okay, yeah, we're live. Hello, everybody. My name is Welcome, and welcome back to
Welcome by Every's name.
Welcome's my
Hey, Every. Hey, Every.
Hello.
Hey, Avery.
Okay, gotta get Twitch up as well. And now we are streaming Twitch too. We are live on every single conceivable little thing.
The stream, no pun intended, has started.
Oh boy, this is gonna be the most unhinged stream ever. Bot was supposed to show up, unfortunately.
There's always bot things
Yeah.
to botch our play. Yeah.
The only sad thing is that,
I'm gonna fist fight with a tree man in Florida.
Awesome.
I will chop you down, rend you apart.
Get the stream quality a bit because this stream is going to be very unique. And by unique, I mean we have basically come up with the most unhinged stream topic ever to be conceived.
Let us get right into the funny internet videos.
Oh my gosh.
And by that I mean the thing.
The Thing. Listen, today we're playing John Carpenter's The Thing. Did the stream just kill itself on Twitch? I think it might have. Maybe. Hard to tell.
Maybe. Hold on.
Average stream bitrate too high? What do you mean average stream bitrate too high for Twitch? Who gives a... YouTube's not yelling at me, and I'm content with that. Anyways, hello everybody, my name is Welcome.
Why mark is name applier?
My mark is name applier, okay. So the idea today is simple.
Plan is simple.
We have come up with the most deranged idea ever known to man, and we are going to... make a tier list. Gosh, I don't know if, like... Okay, Pan, help me out here. Before I, like, swap the stream over to, like, our review, what tier list should I use? Should I use, this tier list? Or should I use
very much
this tier list? Because the one on the left is, Ultimate Custom My Characters. But I think this one's more collective, and it has the, freaking Security Breach and Ruin animatronics, which is what I want. Actually, I'm probably gonna go with this one.
Yeah, I feel like we need Security Breach in there.
Yeah, we do need them in.
Oh, it says updated for Ruin. I thought I said updated for Run.
Yeah.
Run. The Frabber is coming to get you. Joke's on him. I have the secret art. I have the sacred art title card.
I like how explicitly, because of the frickin' Security Breach animatronics, I have to explicitly add won't malfunction but will be disturbed.
Well, I feel like there's so many possible options. We could write all the or we could just like have it be like a vague general. I don't know. It's not exactly down to a science.
I like how I have to make the physically intangible tier for, like, the Phantoms.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's kind of the thing. Hey,
the nah tier.
Yeah. By the way, Pan, could you pull up the stream on Twitch? Make sure that's working.
I could. You see me like it. Oh my paw. Oh, I won't know until the ads are over.
Yeah, I just want to make sure the stream's actually functioning.
The ads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beer.
Bruh.
Okay. Alright. Just gotta make sure everything's working. Bars are balanced out. Blah, blah, blah. A lot of techie mumbo-jumbo that no one could give any less of a crap about. Here we are. What about this? Yeah, I think this is... It's edging it, but I think that's good. Anyways. Okay.
It does. It pauses the ad until I'm looking at it.
Oh, that's stupid. Okay. Well, I mean, Twitch is Twitch. Anyways.
They've thought of everything.
They thought of everything! We must run!
The Toby who thought of that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think that's good balancing. Anyways. Let me just... This is gonna be so scuffed, but I love that. Here we are. I have the stream set up.
Okay, it's working. It's all goog.
Okay, no tech issues on Twitch.
Why is one of the tags he?
Beautiful. Yeah, it's just I found that tag and I went, oh, that's perfect. That's perfect for the scuffed nature. All right.
I've been this whole time I've been playing the new Skyblock update, and it's really beautiful how since everything was just added, people are paying like 20 times the items prices for everything. So I just have to like get some basic materials and sell them for comically large amounts of coins.
As you should.
Yes. I am become back my money.
I have become back my money.
Money? You said that like the Smash announcer says some names.
Yeah.
Oh, look. Luigi.
Luke.
Oh, Lamar. Where are you?
I love how freaking schizophrenic the freaking thumbnail for this is.
Oh yeah, it's I reached into a different plane for that one.
Yeah. Right, we need to get the jazz and the FNaF music. Okay.
By that I mean I stole it from an artist on a plane using my really long arms that I'm very known for.
Awesome. Okay. I don't care if the bit rate's unstable. I could not give any less of a crap. Here we are.
I low-key like the idea of all of my best, most unhinged jokes going into the stream that all of my friends are gonna want to watch the least.
Oh yeah, by the way, Pan, if you want, could you kick on the frickin' music thing and just add some, like, frickin' jazz music to this for the bit?
I could. It'll probably just be Maple Story, because that's like the only jazz I know is there's a compilation of that. I can't think of much else. There's probably some crazy Deltarune jazz.
Probably.
Music. Oh, I got a whole... That's right, I forgot about the compilation thing.
Probably just gonna be an erratic freaking stream. Anyways. Alright, I genuinely want to do this seriously, so now we have to freaking determine what the frick is wrong with us.
Yes!
Here's the thing about, like, tier listing FNaF animatronics in terms of P ability. We're talking about animatronics that had dead kids stuffed inside of them, blood and viscera everywhere. So they have to have at least some inherent resistance to, not get screwed over. Then again, who knows? They probably weren't stuffed in with the endos. Probably just the suits themselves that are haunted. So there's a level of, like, reasonable deniability on both fronts. What do you think, Pan?
This is funny on so many levels. Just the words that are really being spoken right now.
This is a question I've long sought to answer.
Yeah.
So we need to get, like, a baseline of, like, how likely is an animatronic to just malfunction?
I feel like all of the questions that you've said and haven't said but are very clearly thinking right now about this whole thing are all things that are going to subconsciously be answered once we get into it.
That's fair. First
we're going to figure it out very quickly on the way.
Yeah, that's fair. First things first, I need to set the phantoms into the physically intangible frickin' area.
Of course. Because
those are must-haves. I think that's Phantom Cupcake? What is that? Looks like Phantom Cupcake, so you go there. Anything else we can chalk up to as a hallucination?
Phantom Cupcake?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that is a thing. I don't know why I'm forgetting. My brain felt Phantom Cupcake.
Fair enough. Here's the thing about, like, Golden Freddy. Given their power set, I think peeing on them would literally only make things arguably worse. You would only... Yeah.
That would do... Yeah, they literally are... We call them Pea Bear, like...
We call them Pea Bear, but I'm the guy who gets...
Yeah, for several reasons... It would make no difference to the suit. It already looks like it's been peed on and is all worn and worse for wear. I feel like it'll make a difference. With its power set, that's not going to deter it in any physical damage you do to it probably isn't going to matter if it's as something as little as peeing. It's not going to have any psychological effects, I don't think, because Cassidy is so angry and determined and dead set on goals. I don't think any weird, gross thing you could say or do will actually be even registered.
That's fair. Honestly, if you're asking me, I think that only solidifies the idea that you're just going to die.
Yeah, you're just going to die.
You will literally only make things worse, because the better idea is to turn tail and run.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah. Oh yeah, we need to put this thing into the physically
public enemy
tier.
number 1.
This needs to go in the physically intangible tier, because that's not even physically touchable. It's a freaking script.
Oh.
Like, at least if I remember correctly, I played Ruin, but I played Ruin like ages ago.
Hold on. Chicken drop. Okay. Sorry, what is...
This
what
thing.
am I looking at?
This thing right here was in Ruin. It's the little thing that appears when you put on the mask. That stalks you and touches
okay,
you
sorry.
and
They're all really small for me.
Oh, that's fair, and I'm really sorry about that. I actually will zoom in the stream view for this.
Oh, thank you. Oh, mixes.
Yeah, mixes. You cannot touch them in any way, shape, or form. So, let's start this off. The tier list is supposed to start off with Foxy, but I think it's better to get a baseline with Freddy Fazbear. What do you think? How effective do you think peeing on them would be?
Freddy Fazbear?
Yeah.
That's a solid middle ground, I'd say. Hold on.
Like 40-60%?
Yeah, like something like that. Because I feel like that suit just feels like something that could be, you know, to some extent, kind of like burned through.
That's fair.
You know, it's already basically just like a wet mat is what it kind of looks like. But
we'll put it at like
and there's the fact that there's the child's soul in there means they might be grossed out at it, but they also, it's Freddy. I feel like he might not. It's definitely a middle ground.
Here's the thing. I will argue on this front because I think it's worth arguing. I think what we have to consider when it comes to dealing with the Fazbear gang is general spillages. Like soda, we have to account for the fact that children will try to spill soda and stuff like that on them. But children are going to be more the general legs area than the face area. However, there is an explicit rule that states don't touch Freddy, and that rule probably exists for good reason.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I want to use Freddy Fazbear, the original FNaF 1 Freddy Fazbear, as sort of the general guideline for how things should work. I feel like that's just a good goal. Because, if on all honesty, he is like the baseline. Bonnie is probably the same as Freddy, if you ask me. What do you think?
I'm trying to think about it. I'm trying to think about if that would work more or less, because I feel like... Does Bonnie have more... Like, no, I guess it would be the same, more or less. Yeah. I was trying to think about, like, exposed bits, but he's basically the same. I don't feel like peeing in the ear joints would do anything to the rest of him.
That's fair.
Also, I think my favorite part about this is the fact that the answer... Realistically, the answer would be no in like 99% of cases. We're kind of just power scaling up the P to like kind of toxic.
Well, no, what I'm thinking is like, how likely are you to like cause circuitry to like short circuit? That's the question, which is why I'm like seriously looking at this question. Because the idea is like, yeah, that there's a reason bringing up the soda thing and at the same time bringing up how small kids are. Because reasonably, there are like several rules in Freddy Fazbear's that imply that something like this hasn't been worked around, but at the same time, these are suits that have had literal dead children stuffed inside of them, yet still remain perfectly functional, albeit with a rancid smell. This happens, and yet these suits are still functional, but at the same time...
Sniper TF2 built different.
That is true. That's kind of the thing. It's like, I don't know. Depending on, like, how much pee you throw at them, you might cause something to short circuit to distract them for a moment. That's kind of the thing.
Okay, hold on. Who's next? Foxy?
Chica would be next. And frankly, she is definitely going lower in the malfunction rate tier list.
Yeah, no, yeah, with how incredibly unhygienic she is, we've already agreed before that. For you lovely stream viewers, before the stream started, we already agreed. She heckin' nasty and would not care.
Here's the thing, based on the Fazbear Survival book...
help wanted.
Here's the funny thing, based off the Fazbear Survival book, Chica is specifically waste disposal. Out of, like, the entire Fazbear gang, that is her job. She literally freaking hides the evidence, as far as I know. I've never read the book.
So when they made the Bonnie toilet, it should
have been Chica.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing. It's like, specifically, I'm going to rank Chica lower on the malfunction scale, because that's just something I think is right. As for Foxy, however, I'm gonna rank him higher, because he specifically is more withered, and you're more likely, because of how dysfunctional and unmaintained he is, to get a good hit in with your pee. If you pee
he's already twitchy, and he's way more open.
He's way more open. You're more likely to find like a good avenue to hit if you pee at him, where you'll probably hit some like frame wires and
out of order.
Here's the thing, if you pee at him in the right way, you're probably gonna fry something. And no, I'm not gonna count Help Wanted for any sense of evidence, because that's a Fazbear's recreation. We don't know how much that's been dramatized or not. We only know what Fazbear's knows. We don't have the materials that they had when making that.
I guess that's...
Now here's the thing. Next up, we have the toys. And I don't know if they'd be more tangible or less tangible. What do you think?
Oh, the toys?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I think that for the toys in general, with their plastic models and higher, just general higher techness, I feel like it would just slide right off.
That's exactly what I'm thinking too.
Look at just how smooth and rounded they are. Like, that's not getting in there.
Honestly, I agree completely. That's definitely the case that I fully agree to. The only case I think you could be made for is Toy Chica having a higher malfunction rate because of the fact that she can take her peak off. And I feel like that's just an open area. That's just
I don't like the words aim for the mouth, but I'm saying them anyway. I do not like.
The thing is that, like, these are more advanced models, which inherently means that there's going to be a lot more accommodations and a lot more security. In terms, speaking about their general design, look at how their joints are handled. That's a key thing. Their joints are a lot less open than, say, the OG Fazbear's models. These things may be built like troopers and they can tank a lot, but these things are a lot more susceptible to being peed on than, say, the toys. However, I'm ranking Toy Chica higher specifically because of the fact that she takes her beak off, which I do not think is an intended design feature.
This stream is going to be part of my legacy.
Believe me, it has to be.
Yeah.
As for Mangle...
This is the new requirement. If you want to join this server, then you have to record fully reacting to the stream.
Yeah. As for Mangle, she's going to be our first 100%.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She takes literally everything about the toys and basically turns it against them by being the most high-tech, yet at the same time physically unstable model. She is not designed for this at all. If you pee on her, she will
I do not want to hear what those glitchy police scanner sounds sound like post-pee.
Neither do I. But if you need to survive against Mangle, peeing on her is a valid tactic. I think.
Just try not to get it bitten off.
Yeah, don't. If anything, it's better if you go the jarate route and pee in a jar.
Exactly. The Sosig is not safe around that maw.
Or even the coochie, let's be honest on that front. Listen, if you want to never have kids...
Class, dog. Oh.
Listen, let's be real. Male or female, if you don't want to have kids, do that. Anyways, now we have BB and JJ. They're probably just in the same avenue as the toys, right?
Oh, yeah. If anything, hold on.
What are you thinking?
No, never mind. I don't know why I thought that might have a chance. They don't really have the right.
Yeah, if anything...
They don't really know.
That's sort of the thing. If anything, they're so weird, and they're constructed exactly like the toys. I'd wager that if they're
I want to believe the enragement child is not immune to something. However, he may be immune.
I'd wager he likely is. That's sort of the issue. We're talking about Balloon Boy and JJ.
This is the reason he was the final boss.
That's kind of the thing. It's literally... They're toys. The toy models are typically inherently a lot more resilient unless there's an obvious design flaw, like Toy Chica's beak or Mangle's mangleness. Now we have the withered models.
I love how we're slowly starting to talk more about it, more like as if it's canon in the thing, all of the P-related things that we're saying.
Yeah.
like, oh yes, they intended and designed for that. What do we're talking about peeing on animatronics.
Well, no, here's the thing. I'm not talking peeing on animatronics as in, like, generally just peeing on them. I'm talking about fluids in general, like soda.
Yeah.
That's sort of like,
I know what you mean.
yeah, which is exactly why I'm bringing up the toys likely being more durable. Here's the thing, the scale is very based off of Freddy Fazbear as an anchor. If Freddy is like in the 40% aisle or the 60% aisle, then this entire scale adjusts with it. He is the anchor. We are fundamentally gauging, based off of specifically Freddy Fazbear, how likely an animatronic is to malfunction when you pee on them.
Yes.
Or use any liquid against them, actually. How likely are they to short circuit? And I'm not talking about like, oh, just get some acid and throw it at them. No, I mean specifically like water. But either way, we now get to the wizards. What are you thinking? I think they're high up on the malfunction scale, but they probably each have their own individual rankings. What do you think?
So Withered Bonnie is going to die.
That's so true. His face is just like vulnerable wires that can easily short.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how you catch fire to the building.
He is how you catch fire to the building.
No, wait, do you think Michael brought him with him so that he could do that to Springtrap?
Oh, you mean like in FNaF 3, he just pulled out a spring body head and peed on it?
Yeah. Oh, it was probably in the box, wasn't it?
It was in the box. Yes, it was in the spare parts. No, wait, no. The spray, because I think FNaF 2 happens before FNaF 1, but FNaF lore is so freaking vague. I really don't know. I'm assuming that Bonnie here got turned into this Bonnie. That's sort of the thing. I don't know.
Bon.
I'm gonna label Freddy, I don't know. He's the most intact out of all the Withers. That's the thing.
Yeah. I feel like he'd be about the same as the original.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Because we're talking about, like, Freddy as the original, but, like...
If we're talking wires, then Withered Chica is going down.
Here's the thing. The original Chica is
However,
at the same time...
I feel like she'd rush you down and kill you while you're short-circuiting her, though.
That's so true. That's the thing. It's like, you likely will get a malfunction on her, but I feel like she'd just keep running at you.
Yeah, and then just, like, poke a hole through your chest.
Yeah, then she'd kick the bucket. Because here's the thing. Withered Chica, specifically, as I stated before, Chica is garbage disposal. If this is the same model, then that really shouldn't matter too much, as in she still has the same objective and still the same means of trying to kill you. Because she handles all the nasty crap, she probably still has a bit of inbuilt resistance and a bit of knowledge on how to not short circuit. But she's still very... I just realized,
imagine you die and your soul gets trapped in the garbage disposal robot.
Yeah. Either she eats you, or she freaking chucks you to the garbage bin. It's never confirmed how you die in the book, I think. And now we have Foxy, and Foxy is... I don't know.
Foxy is Foxy.
That's true. Here's the thing, yeah?
Like the best
I don't know if he's 80% or 100%. Because he still has that light vulnerability, right?
Oh, hold on one second.
Because Foxy's vulnerable to lights.
Holly, that would work pretty well. Let's just say 80.
Yeah, let's say 80. I think he's like 80's a good one, because he's not as vulnerable as Mangle, but he is definitely susceptible. I'd wager more susceptible than Bonnie.
Yeah.
Or maybe less. I don't know, because Bonnie's very withered.
Know.
But Foxy... I don't know how more withered he is compared to the original Foxy. We'd have to gauge that.
We'd have to go into an in-depth discussion.
We'd have to go into very in-depth discussion, that's the issue. Anyways. I'm just gonna leave Puppet on You Will Literally Only Make Things Worse, because I think incurring Charlie's wrath is a bad idea. If anything, people will probably break the music box.
Yeah. Like, actually, yeah. Also because it's such a thin, like, small, but also sleek model that I feel like it's like good luck aiming on it, and it's not going to sink in probably, or maybe it will because it's thin. I don't know.
Puppet's weird. Puppet doesn't follow the typical endoskeleton model for this era.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't follow the endo model for this era. I feel compelled to believe that they're just not endoskeleton piloted. They're instead just raw spirit. Because
Also, I don't know why that it like gives the impression it can low-key just fly.
that's kind of the thing with Puppet. Puppet's
I don't
weird.
know how they managed that one.
Puppet is just really freaking weird.
Papa goes into the "this one scares me to think about" tier.
Do you want me to add that as a tier?
Sure, just this one scares me tier.
Alright.
Bibs time.
Wish I could find like a good in between. I think I'll just leave that gray. Because I think that's good. Okay, that's like a good middle ground. Because I want Freddy to be the main anchor for this tier list. But yeah. Now we have to account for Spring, for Shadow Bonnie and Shadow Freddy. What do we think about them? Do they just fall into the intangible tier?
So, that is a good question. I feel like Shadow Bonnie is absolutely capable of everything. Especially in the books, it seems like it. But like the more we see, the more they seem just completely intangible. But Shadow Freddy also tries to give you that impression, but I don't know, just something about the first appearance, how you see them, and also like a couple other instances, like Easter eggs that people say might also be Shadow Freddy. They like feel a lot more there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so
like it's hard to say. It's really inconsistent on Shadow Freddy.
So we just want to shove them in physically intangible because we really don't know.
Yeah, we might as well.
And what about Shadow Bonnie? Has Shadow Bonnie had any implication that liquids would disturb them in any way, shape, or form? Or
no, not at all.
What about intent? Is it capable of holding a grudge? Is it capable of feeling rage?
Yeah, I feel like that's something the theorists are trying to figure out. I don't feel like we're equipped to tackle that one.
I don't think we are either. I'm just gonna put this one in this one scares me to think about tier and move on. Is that a good idea?
That's actually, yeah, that's fair.
Because we really don't know. It's forcing us to ask too many questions. Scott was never prepared. Scott Cawthon was never prepared for a stream like this.
Oh, no, I don't think any person who has made anything ever, any story or game or anything, I don't think any of them would ever be prepared for a stream like this existing about their property.
Alright, now we have Springtrap. You and I know where he's going.
Yeah. The fear and anxiety that Toby had when Undertale first blew up and it took over everything, he definitely got more and more used to that over time. I think a stream like this would reset it back to that era for him.
Alright, next time we need to make a frickin' stream theorizing if monsters are susceptible to human urine or not.
I don't think we can do more than one stream of this. People are already going to be questioning whether we have something. They're going to be questioning our interests in YouTube searches. You know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah,
they're going to think it's a king.
Yeah, that's fair. This is a one-time bit. Actually, in that case, we should theorize, frickin' how well a human monster war really would go in real life, actually. That'd be fun. Hi, Mom. Oh, thank you. Breakfast for dinner? That's awesome.
That would be interesting, actually, because...
Okay.
Oh, perfectly fine. Thank you so much, Mom.
Because the humans are busted at Undertale, but
Okay.
But if it's like us humans, yeah.
now it's time. The spring suits. They're gonna go the exact same tier one way or the other. I'm gonna wager. Crap! We need to make separate tiers for these. One is the animatronic, one is the spring suit.
Hold on.
Crap! Dang it! That's actually kind of a problem. Because these things function as both spring suits and animatronics, we need to, like, genuinely ponder how effective is this as a spring suit? How effective is this as an animatronic?
Oh, I see what you mean. That's a good point. So we could just make a tier list for the spring lock specifically that says like if person in there die.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna add that. Add a row below. If spring suit equal die. If animatronic equal 1%?
They don't really look like it would be that easy to mess, but also it could be really finicky because they are spring lock technology.
Prehistoric. They are like prehistoric, less developed than the other suits.
Yeah, so like,
and there's no spirit backing it up either.
Yeah, so we could say at least 60%.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, at least 60%. I think that's a good, valid tier for these, because these guys are so unique that I can't necessarily just say, oh, they will die, or no, they will not die. They are just, yeah, 100% malfunction rate if they're a spring suit. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah.
Whoever's inside is dead if you pee on them. I will say that.
Yeah, that's a funny prank to pull on your friends.
True. Okay. Alright.
Right behind mods, put him in the gutter, man.
Alright. Now we have to deal with these. Here's the thing about the, nightmares. They are so freaking unique. Because either they are actual, genuine nightmare entities, or they're illusion disc technology that's being used to torment Michael. So they're another, like, gray area.
There's so many gray areas.
That's
Scott, why do you do this to us? He knew we were going to do this stream. He was making it hard for us.
Oh, yeah. Frick it. What about Plush Trap? Well, let's just start with Plush Trap first, then we'll get to the giant nightmare nose of the nightmares.
Oh, yeah, because Plush Trap feels the most real, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Plush Trap's definitely the most real.
Like yeah. Like,
what are we
if
thinking?
anything, Plush Trap might actually be real and it's just, like, animated by Agony or something.
Probably, who knows?
Especially from the, like, implied possible experiments on children, question mark?
Probably? Well, how likely to malfunction do we think they'd be? Are they a plush animated by... Here's the thing, they obviously have some robotic parts in there. I'd say they're at least 20%. If they're just a mere...
Yeah, there is metal. There is metal in there.
Yeah.
And plus the actual, like, fur or whatever outside looks like... It looks like it's very worn away and tattered. And I feel like it would... Especially since it's a little guy.
Yeah.
I might just work on it.
At the same time in the cutscenes, I think it's implied that Plush Trap's a generally sold toy. Either way, I'm not putting them at 0%, because I don't think they have the same thought as the toys. I feel like that if you were to dunk this thing into a soda bottle, it would die.
Yeah.
It would not be happy. So what percent do we think they're at? 20%? 40%?
Yeah. Yeah, dunk it into the tank and keep it in there for long enough, it'll look like a blobfish.
Yeah! Turns into the Fazgoo.
No.
Not the Fazgoo.
The goo.
Gosh, we need bot here for this. We need more voices for this. Oh gosh, now the nightmares.
Not gonna lie, I've low-key been like the voice of. I've been like 4 voices combined.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I've just been a whole different brand of unhinged and silly, and I think part of it is just because there's no one else here right now.
That's the thing. I don't know how to approach these. Do we just exclude the idea that they're just nightmares and just go off the idea that they're illusion disc, or?
Well, it also depends. There's so much that's like kind of left up to interpretation, because isn't there like a major theory that they're like this like plastic shell basically, and then the discs make them scary?
Yeah, like.
I mean, I already know the discs make them scary, but I mean like
the nightmares.
One thought of what they look like under it is that they're just like a translucent plastic shell or something.
Yeah, like the frickin' Twisteds.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that's the case, I don't feel like that would work on them at all. However, we could put a new tier in for pee the illusion off. Pee on it, break the illusion discs.
That's actually good. Give me a second. Oh gosh, I need the freaking. Okay, you've made this. I need to freaking pull up the lore of the illusion discs.
There's gonna be so many tiers by the end of this.
There is, because I want to make this as like legit as possible by the end of it. They're breakable. Illusion discs are described as flat discs about the size of a $50 coin. One that was removed from a twisted animatronic had After Robotics LLC written on tiny letters inside in an old-fashioned flowing script.
They don't feel like they'd have any reason to be waterproof, and they're just tiny enough and like compact enough. It feels like any liquid that touched it would short circuit it.
I guess we kind of have to add the P equals illusion off tier. How likely do you think this is going to go? Because I want to like put this at least next to a tier that feels right. Like the likelihood of breaking an illusion disc by peeing on it, because it would definitely.
Well, it's definitely like you get scared, start wildly spraying, and then most likely it somehow hits something that you obviously weren't able to see with the illusion on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to imagine that like. I don't know how these things are constructed. I'm going to wager that these are illusion disc based. So I'm going to put this above 50%, like it's with 50%. I'm gonna put this with 50%. Better. I think that's a good idea.
Arg, the illusion be wearing off.
Oh gosh, we have to do this for like every single freaking animatronic. I hate this.
Oh yeah, all the nightmares are in the same thing, obviously. Hold on, how many are left?
A lot.
Oh, lightning round.
Oh gosh. Oh jeez. That is a lot of animatronics down the crapper.
Hold on, Nightmarion. Is questionable as that's very like no one knows anything about them.
I don't know what to say about the Halloween animatronics. Do we just put them in the do we just put the Halloween ones in the freaking tier?
Wait, scary to think about. Yeah.
Wait, no, we can't even freaking not consider them because don't they show up in Help Wanted?
Oh, yeah, they do.
Crap! In that case, yeah, no, we have to assume that Afton made physical models of them too. Probably the Torment Michael.
Maybe.
It's the most sensible thing. I have to assume that these aren't nightmare creatures.
It also could be because they're doing a game in that one that they just really felt like making silly alternate versions of one of the scary things, but...
I mean, that's fair. I don't know how to approach this. That's the issue.
I definitely think Nightmarion specifically goes into the scary to think about tier, because that one that one has no reason to believe that it's actually a nightmare like the others. Like there is, or at least to the same degree. Like everything you see of it gives the impression that there's a chance it might be more than what's under the surface.
Well, here's the thing. Wait, no, that's the issue. Here's the thing with how Nightmare End works. It's in freaking Help Wanted. So
yeah, well, it's also in it's referenced a bunch in Security Breach.
Crap, I don't know. Yeah, wait, I don't know. I don't know how often
that's the part that makes it scary, because if it's referenced so much in there, and that and with just how much you see it do in Help Wanted, it doesn't feel like that. Like, could it really be illusion discs?
Okay. Before we get to any of the freaking fun times, we have to deal with Ennard. You'd think I'd just chuck them all the way to 100%, but we're talking about something that crawled inside someone after scooping them. And if the blood could have made them malfunction, it would have. That's the problem.
A good point there, dog.
So
yeah.
I feel obliged to shove all the fun times into the 0% tier.
Okay, so he must have made those things water resistant inside and out, is what happened.
Which makes sense, because Freddy was designed to store a frickin' child in his chest. So you wouldn't want the child peeing themselves and then freeing themselves by sheer accident, or getting crushed.
Sorry, that was just like the funniest thing to suddenly hear.
Yeah. I don't know. And then there's Lolbit, who's like, does Lolbit even exist?
Why do we have to ask, does this even exist so often? Cost nothing, why do you do this?
Here's the issue. The only animatronics, I don't know. Because Ennard somehow is waterproof enough to survive being inside Michael's dead corpse. So the question is like, does that extend to the originals?
Where's the caveman?
Where's the caveman? Right. Exactly.
I said it a little late because he said where the question is.
Yeah, that's the issue. I feel obliged to shove all these to the 0% tier. Gosh, when Bot shows up, I'm gonna have to rationalize so much to him.
I'm not sure he's going to, unless it's like right at the very end.
Probably, yeah.
It's gonna be right at the very end, and then he's gonna like show up and be like, "Sorry, the mafia showed up."
Yeah, sounds like a very Bot thing to have happen. Actually, no, I can't really tier these things, because here's the thing, these are Saw models. And I don't know if the Bitty Babs ever got inside Ennard. So all the fundamental components of Ennard that I know exist, they definitely are waterproof, but these, I don't know.
The Bitty Babs feel like they would be, like, they just look like that just would not do thing, you know what I mean?
That's fair, and then you get a
well, it feels like it because of the material, but also because of all of the, like, opening components. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
Put it in, like, 80%.
I guess we'll put him at 80% malfunction rate. I guess that's fair. What about the mini read?
Oh.
What do we think about this?
Oh, sorry. I meant a low amount. I thought I meant like 80 knots. Sorry, I like forgot words for a moment.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna estimate that they're probably a 20%er. Here's the thing about how weird Ennard is. I don't know. Ennard is just so odd. I don't know. I think they're just immune. Not in the sense of, oh, they won't die if you shoot them. I mean, they freaking just won't die if you pour liquid on them.
They just went adapt, Bozo.
They literally adapted. What about the mini reads? What do we think about the Bon? Well, did Bon get inside frickin' Ennard?
And Ennaraga.
Yeah, Bagaraga.
I don't think. Hold on, that's a good question. I feel like Bon was probably. Were they on the floor during that cutscene, or were they not?
I don't know.
I think that's what determines it. We gotta get up. Gotta get the image. Gotta look at this scooping cutscene.
Get the scooping image. Send it in Discord. I'll put it up for everyone to look at. Because this is a stream for the history books.
Uh,
That's the key freaking issue.
Oh, wait. Okay.
What do you think?
They still made it a little questionable.
Great.
I put it in TSYT. So Bonbon is there, but did they evacuate? Like, is that a shell, or is there's still stuff in there?
His arm's missing. His arm, it's missing.
So Bonbon's arm isn't an arm.
It has to be. Bonbon has to be inside Enter.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes sense, because everyone else's and Bonbon's just missing. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume that Bonnet is the same model as Bonbon, so they're both in the 0% tier.
Huh.
I'm gonna put a little bit in physically intangible, because they never make a physical appearance in any of the games, I think. What about the mini arenas?
I do believe so. Mini arenas, yeah, my brain short-circuited. I'm trying to... Hold on, let me look at them.
They're practically just moving dolls. I don't know if they're animated by Remnant or not.
I don't... Let's just put it at a low amount.
I guess.
Like
Here's the... Oh gosh, I just realized the most
or...
frustrating thing. Because these guys survived getting scooped. So I don't know if, like, they were water resistant before they got scooped or after they got scooped. So you could make a reasonable case that these guys could all be, like, freaking, like, water resilient up to a point. But that Enter just modified their body completely to be waterproof. I don't freaking know. I don't know if they're absolutely waterproof or not. It's such a low chance of working, though.
I mean, that would imply... I feel like that would... The only way that would make sense is if somehow the Remnant injected... the Remnant that was injected by the Scooper, since that's part of what it does also, like, that somehow made them water resistant.
Well, that, or Enter gain more control over their body and use that to protect their vital bits.
It's as if the P is like a physical attack.
Yeah.
it's my sacred, like, my secret sword technique, P.
Yeah, it's like when a freaking,
like, parry it.
Yeah, it's like freaking, like, one of, like, Reagan's moves, like his self-defense rush.
Reagan, that's awesome.
That sounds like an actual, genuine Reagan move. Gosh, I want to put them at 20%. I don't know, though, because they made up Enter.
Actually, though, Reagan would get so scared that he pees himself, and then both him and the narrator are playing it off like that's his special move to make the enemy feel bad for him to get him out of a bad situation.
He would. I don't know.
It's one of his special moves.
I don't know. Do I put these guys at 20% or just say completely, yeah, no, peeing on them won't work? Because I don't know how different it is.
I'm saying 20%.
I guess we'll go 20%. It's odd, but these are the only characters that we know just wouldn't have that work completely feasibly. Because of how they're designed. But at the same time, here's the thing, because this is transport, I'd wager that it'd have more water resistance to prevent freaking...
Please tell me this stream somehow blows up, and we have people in the comments giving their 2 cents about why one of our things is wrong, because this would be the funniest video for that to happen.
We need to make an edited video out of this to see if the algorithm blows it up. Because we need this to blow up. Okay, here's the issue. I want to say that, like, Funtime Freddy's the most resilient because he's transit. So there'd be a bit more care put into preventing the child inside from wetting themselves and ruining everything. However, Bellora's scooper as well. Like, she has the mini scooper. So would... not Ballora, I mean Baby. So would she...
Baby.
Would she be here?
Yeah, Yeah, that would make sense.
This is freaking insane. This is the most insane stream we've ever come up with.
Not gonna lie, I feel like I've stopped thinking about the fun times and I'm ready to get on to something else.
You're just going 20%. Oh, Music Man.
Music Man. Yeah, so unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna save you because he seems so big and so like he seems like such an intimidating, resilient force in general in the games that I feel like you could make him malfunction 3 times and then he'll just get back up 3 seconds later.
Yeah, right. Ruin. Gosh.
He's the unmovable or unstoppable, one of those. SCP that one, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, we have the cupcakes now to deal with.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this one in P equals illusion off.
Yeah.
Do we put Nightmare in freaking this one scares me to think about territory because Nightmare again replaces them in Halloween, or no, we just leave them there.
That doesn't seem like good reasoning.
Yeah. What about the cupcakes? Do we just put them in 0%?
I mean, I guess. I guess, yeah.
I don't know. I guess. Okay, this one is 0% because that's just a freaking fake cupcake. The ones with like actual animatronic bits are going at 20%, I'd wager. What do you think?
Yeah,
Okay, that's a fun time, so that's... I'm gonna put the cupcake with Chica.
I feel like all the ones we really aren't sure about should really just go into 20%. It's like, are they immune? Maybe? 20.
That's kind of the thing, because 20% is the gray area of either something's wrong and you can pee on them, or we really don't freaking know. It's like we can only guarantee, because of like the make and model and like the features of some animatronics, that they have like a higher resilience, which is why they're at 0%.
We can only guarantee.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah, we have the endoskeletons now. How do these rank compared to Freddy?
The endoskeletons?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Oh, Yendo! We have to deal with Yendo!
Yeah. Yendo. So... I feel like they should just get Scron Bongloed. However, I don't know. It really feels like with the main guys, it almost feels like they have more wires, and the endoskeletons themselves don't even... Like, it feels like they... Like, for the endoskeleton characters specifically, it feels like their wires are way more well hidden.
Yeah.
Than they probably normally would be when they're in a suit. We could put it for, like, 80%, because there's definitely no protective... There's no true protective layer to say that nothing's getting in there.
But, it's these guys.
Yeah,
it's
but, like...
Weird. There's, like, no suit to cover it up, but at the same time, there's no exposed wire. I'm assuming that would make sense, because these guys are a lot more vulnerable. We should probably look at the endoskeleton models a lot more closely to determine if there's any vulnerabilities or not.
Yeah.
And then there's Yendo.
Can we put Yendo in this one? Scares me.
Yeah.
Honestly, just because of the character scares me.
Fair. I don't want to think about this, because thinking about Yendo in terms of like how canon he is weird.
Yeah, get off my screen, Yendo.
I mean, he shows up at UCN, but...
Yeah. Well, he also shows up in Help Wanted too.
Oh god, he is canon then. What the heck? Oh, wait, where the frick is, like, Lefty? Why is there no Lefty here? Oh, there's Lefty. Okay, good.
Okay, but, yeah.
You go over here with the salvage boys.
I feel Lefty with the 9 risk and the twitchiness feels like it... let's skip the Lefty just because I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, let's go.
Lefty feels like the character where it would 100% work. However, they now are going absolutely schizo for about 20 seconds and going to kill someone before they like they'll stand there, do nothing. You pee on them, they look at you, and then suddenly they're like Usain Bolt before they die. That is the vibe that I get from.
Is that literally just
yes,
you will
yes.
make things?
That is the vibe that I get from Lefty.
That is, yeah, valid. Now we have a problem. Here's the thing: these guys have been left out to the elements so long. But here's the thing: no. We're not gauging long-term damage. We're gauging short-term. How effective would this be at getting them, getting you away from them? Not would this set them frickin' dead for good. We're not gauging that. Here's the issue. I put Peanut Head in Peanut Head's freaking tier for a reason, because he's still a spring suit. I think.
Yeah.
I think.
No, that's no. He's a really messed up spring suit, but he's still at least half spring in there.
Yeah. And for these two, I don't know. They fit into the elements so long, I'd wager it wouldn't matter, but at the same time, because Baby split off from the gang, I don't know if she's more or less resilient than Ennard. She still has the scooper in the form of the claw, but... And here's the thing, Funtime Freddy's the dominant half in the new body, and because of how, unique Funtime Freddy is, I don't think Molten Freddy is as resilient. I mean, there's Scrap Baby, but... I don't know. What do you think? I'm wagering 0-20%, but I could be very wrong given their conditions. Here's the thing. I think Baby's more likely to be susceptible than, Molten Freddy. Because of the fact that, specifically, Baby is a lot more solid than Molten Freddy. Molten Freddy, actually, yeah, no, Molten Freddy goes into Ennard tier. I'm gonna say Baby goes in 20%. What do you think?
Sorry, I got really confused because I'm in a water-themed island right now. So I'm in a water-themed island right now. I looked at the wiki, and it says that there's a mob you can fish out of lava here, and I'm just like, where lava? We are literally in a swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Where lava? So that just like completely zoned me out from the conversation.
Okay, what are your thoughts on Molten Freddy and, Baby?
So I feel like Molten Freddy, it's like go for the weak spot. It's like you have to short circuit the head specifically, and otherwise it's doing nothing.
So that
like you just have to. It's like pee on the head and hope.
Yeah. What about Baby? Because Baby's a lot more attacked than this frickin' pile of noodles.
Baby has so many little chunks and holes in her, but there's also, but I guess she's also technically a fun time. However, I'm like 90% certain with how she looks. There's at least some foreign parts in there, or waterproofing that's not waterproof anymore. Like, I feel like she has to be at least like a middle ground now.
Oh, so we're gonna put her in like 40% maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, like 40, 50, something like that.
I'm gonna put her in low 40. I think this makes sense in my head too. That Baby's more susceptible than Funtime Freddy. Because Freddy's still Ennard. He still has like 2 separate personalities keeping the thing alive. Baby's just by herself. There's less remnant in her system compared to the rest. Actually, yeah, it's a good gauge. Remnant's still influential in keeping a host alive. And then there's Helpy.
And then there was Helpy. Hold on. So, the thing here is, Helpy, with his design and everything we've covered so far, realistically, he should be completely fine, but he's also the joke character who dies from everything. So I feel like he's at least in like 20%. Well, I don't know. Maybe, no, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. Frickin' 20%er feels right.
Helpy tier.
Yeah, Helpy tier. Do you think this is a good spot, or?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll leave Helpy in the Helpy tier. It's a cop-out.
You'll leave. No, I feel like if anyone wants to get his own tier, it's Helpy.
Yeah, it's Helpy. And then I'm gonna move you over here. There's Security Puppet. Do we just leave Security Puppet if this one scares me to think about here, or?
Hold on, sorry, Security Puppet?
Security Puppet.
Okay, so Security Puppet... Hold on. Something about Security Puppet just feels more like it would be more likely to work, especially since, you know, that's pre-possession. It just...
Oh.
Something about the design just feels like it... What? Hold on. Remember, the rain visibly eroded it. Just regular rain.
Wait, yes, in that case, you're right. Okay, that goes to 80%.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's getting
60?
destroyed.
I don't know the time scale of that cutscene, though. Son of a... We know the rain damages it, though. That's guaranteed. That's guaranteed damage from water-based effects, which means that jarate is effective. Maybe.
Yeah, baby. That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
Then there's Candy Cadet. Is that a good spot?
Hold on, let me see. For Candy Cadet?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Candy Cadet, like, every time you see them, they feel, especially in the,
Ruin?
security breach,
Yeah.
they just give them that of, like, barely functioning, you know what I mean?
Like, always barely functional. Trying to give the advice of don't frickin' rip out anal beads like you're starting a lawnmower.
Yeah, thank you, dog. I feel like it would most likely work, but it definitely depends on what point in the timeline. Because I definitely feel like newer models, it wouldn't be very effective, and later ones just dies. So like, we're like the middle ground.
Gets worse as time goes on. I'm adding that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just gets more vulnerable the older it is.
Ooh. I got a chunk of wet water, finally.
I'm just gonna put this above 0% because I think that's valid.
Hold on, wait. Actually,
oh gosh, we have to deal with the rock stars now. Okay.
Oh, man, I'm feeling so done with this thing. Idiots 1 through 69 go to the P dimension. You're getting sent to, like, I don't know. Wait. Remember, the mediocre melodies. Yeah. They have to stand still because they are powered by a car battery, an external car battery. With visible wires. Go for the battery.
Go for the battery. Wait, so these guys, all the freaking scrap boys, they go into 80%?
All of the mediocre melodies.
All of them. These guys.
Yes.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, they go to 80. 80%. This is the most unhinged tier list I think we will ever make.
It's a bring you to tears list.
You see, I feel like this is why Scott left. This is why Scott left us.
He looked into the future. He consulted an oracle.
He consulted, he prayed to God to see the future. God granted him his wish, and he decided no more. No more.
Yeah, forward him in his group chat this.
I feel like I've made a worse atrocity than the freaking pier.
Yeah.
Anyways, now we have to deal with, El Chip and the Rockstars. What do we think?
El Chipe. I definitely feel like they are less susceptible. I feel like they'd be good, like, 40%? Something like that.
Yeah, less susceptible, so we'll...
Yeah, because they're like the in-between of all of the nice, sleek models, like the toys.
Wait, no, I can't
times,
put Chica at 20%. I can't put
And then the
Chica.
regular, ordinary ones that are very susceptible. They're like the in-between.
Yeah, they're like a bit better off than the stock. Here's the issue
like if anything, they'd be a 30%.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, it's weird because I want to put Chica at like the 20% tier because the Chicas are inherently more durable than the Freddies.
I don't think this one is. I think this one's an outlier.
I think it's an outlier like Toy Chica because it's afraid of the wet floor sign.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. This is so what we've learned is Rockstar Chica's the cleanly Chica.
The cleanly Chica. This one goes in intangible. And then we have these guys. Anyways. I don't think you cannot stop Mr. Hippo from ranting. I think it'd be valid to put him in like 20% or probably the same. The rest of these guys go in the same tier as like.
Mr. Hippo definitely has a somewhat low chance. However, I think an added like stipulation or whatever is that he only malfunctions after his rant is over.
Only? Yeah. Okay.
Like, he will power through it with the force of will until he has nothing left to say, and then he will just die.
In that case, he's technically going in 50%. What about the others? We think they belong in 50%? Because they're like middle of the road. They're built like the originals, the FNaF ones.
Well, those were the guys I was talking about when I said the mediocre melodies.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm stupid. I thought you meant the Trash Boys.
No, that's Trash in the Gang.
I'm stupid.
I don't know
forgot about the car. I did. Okay, yeah, these guys go at 80%. The Trash in the Gang goes at 0%. I'm really, really dumb.
Trash in the Gang, if anything, should have like one of the not anything percents because they can't do anything anyway. Like, they're just not applicable.
This is the only one that gets 20%. This one gets 20%. The rest gets 0%. I'm stupid. I am really, really stupid.
We have fun here.
This is funny as nuts. I love this. And now I have to add a frickin' purple Mr. Hippo tier. Where is Hippo? I forgot where Mr. Hippo was. That a row below. It's storming outside right now. I think I'm angering God just a little bit.
Just a little. It's not too much for him to handle, right?
Yeah, I hope. Perfect. This is so freaking on. I like how the only person at the trash gang is. How likely is a vacuum cleaner to malfunction if you pee on it?
Most likely, yeah. Oh, yeah, no. We asked 100 men, do you think... peeing on your vacuum cleaner would turn it off?
We need help. We need actual genuine guidance when it comes to making this abomination of a tier list. We need freaking help. Anyone in Team Scrub needs to, like, give us guidance, because I think as this goes on, we're losing our minds more and more. Oh yeah, the glam rocks.
I still think the best timeline is if we get one where one of us becomes, like, popular for one reason or another, then all the viewers have to have, like, their extended reading that they figure out about 2 years later is just, like, these streams.
These streams are the most freaking unhinged things ever. It's literally the everything is worse streams.
It feels like the exact kind of thing where like at least some YouTubers would look at it like oh, you know, like not like they look at it as something they don't want to talk about. It's like, oh, he doesn't like talking about his past when he did whatever weird cringe thing that they might not have wanted the fans to see now that he does a thing he likes better. Like, no, for me, I'd be like, oh, you finally found it?
You finally found it. You found the best stream on the internet. I want you guys to make a tier list for this now. You need to tier list the likelihood of each animatronic malfunctioning due to pee. You must. Chica, do we put she's definitely in 0% due to how freaking filthy she is, but do we put her in 0% or you will only make things worse percent?
Wait, which one?
Glam Rock Chica, not Shattered.
I mean, yeah, for regular, it feels like it wouldn't do anything.
Yeah. What about Montgomery? What do we think about Montgomery?
He feels so roided up, and they're all so sleek. Let's just say 0 for him too, honestly.
Yeah. We have Sun, who I'm definitely putting in won't malfunction, but will be disturbed here. As for Moon, you will literally only make things worse. You will only make things worse.
Yeah, he's just going to chuckle and laugh at you while you do it, and then grab you.
Pray it's not by the willy.
Yeah, I doubt it, but there's a one timeline out of all of them where that happens.
One timeline where that happens, and whoever did that feels a lot of regret instantly.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Unfortunate. What about the weird endos? What do we think about these? 20%, 40%? I'm feeling 40% myself.
I feel like those ones feel more, I don't know, compared to the like earlier endo models, something about them just feels more exposed to me. You know what I mean?
What are we thinking? 80%, 100%? You want to reduce the endos?
Yeah, let's just say 80%. Let's just put them with the other endos.
Yeah, feels right. I love this tier list so much. It's the best thing ever.
I really do be so eyes.
Yeah. The eyes list. And then we have Mapbot is just completely at 0%.
Hey, can we put Mapbot in the Helpy tier and call it Helpy and Mapbot? Yep.
Yeah. What about the stock guys? What are we thinking? 0%, 20%?
I'm thinking 20. They're very cleanly. It seems like it'd come off, but I don't know.
They're like very mass produced.
Yeah, something about them feels like cheaper and it might work.
Yeah. Oh, then we get Music Man. Do we just put him in You Will Only Make Things Worse tier?
Yeah, you will only make things worse. It's no effect, you're dead.
What about the toys, the mini Music Men?
You definitely have I feel like you have a chance for those ones.
20?
40 or 40. Maybe even 50.
I mean, they're broken down, they're small things, they're like literally not designed for this. I'm thinking that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have JJ.
I stopped playing Skyblock. I'm actually locked in now.
We have Dee Dee. Do I just put her with the freaking... Do we put her in this one scares me to think about tier or 0% tier?
That... Would Dee Dee care, or would they just say it's or would they just say like that's unfortunate?
How unfortunate! Uh-oh! How unfortunate!
How unfortunate!
You peed on my face, so guess what? Your bullets are gone, and your throat.
Actually, if we're going by specifically UCN, then that is 1,000% you will only make things worse.
Yeah, literally.
That is, she will immediately become the, like, shadow version of herself.
Yeah,
the
she'll become the glitchy
whatever.
version of herself when you pee on her and she malfunctions. Like Cassie's
yeah, which
fighting
means you're getting one of the secret animatronics after you.
Yeah, wait, no, if it's the glitchy version, isn't it supposed to be all of them?
Well, it's only supposed to happen once you have all of them.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. But yeah, that's funny. Anyways, Bird Trap. What are we thinking? No, we're not gauging Bird Trap as frickin' Mimic. We're gauging Mimic separately from Bird Trap. I'm saying Afton.
Peepaw Afton.
Peepaw Afton. We're gauging him as Peepaw Afton, not the Mimic. Just Afton. Just if Afton came back again. That's what we're gauging him as.
I don't know why, but I feel like he feels broken in just the right way. It almost feels like he's too fused with it for it to matter. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Like, you don't get the spring lock buff anymore. The spring locks are gone. He's just Peepaw Afton. There is no spring lock failure to abuse.
Yeah.
You can't...
Let's put him... I'm not sure if I should put him in, like, either, like, I don't know, 0, you will only make things worse, or 20, one of those three. I'm not sure which one. You can decide on this one.
I don't know either. I'm thinking 20, because he's still mechanical. He's so worn down, he can probably, like, cause a servo to freak out for a moment.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking 20.
20.
I don't want to
feel
think
like
about
that's
this
one people would probably disagree on.
I don't want to think about this one.
Which one is this? Oh, is that the Blob?
Blob.
Yeah, no, the Blob is definitely the weak point one. That is the you have to get it in the head, and if you have to get in the head to protect yourself from it, but if you don't, it's doing nothing.
Yeah, that sounds right for Blob. Blob's such a freaking travesty. I don't want to think about Blob. Oh, we have Eclipse! Eclipse is cool.
Oh, hey, Eclipse.
Yeah, Eclipse is definitely higher up in the tier.
Yeah, Eclipse is weaker, he's rusted, he's, like, already so insane. I feel like...
You can't push him any further. You physically can't. You can't disturb him, he just takes damage.
Yeah, I feel like that. You would.
Yeah.
There's definitely a chance that that's his finishing blow.
60%?
Yeah, let's say that.
Okay, now the thing is with the Shatters is that, like, the Ruins will always be 1,000,000 times worse than the Shatters. Like, look at Roxy.
Yeah.
Look at her. And then there's freaking, like, they are just flat out worse, whatever we tier them as. Roxy's definitely an 80%. Ruined Roxy is, gosh, as cool as she is trying to fight the Mimic, that is definitely 100%. Man, that likely after fighting the Mimic, she's freaking dead because of how the Mimic kills people. I hate being that kind of person because I think she's cool, but at the same time, I have to be honest. I don't know how the Mimic works, but I wager that probably just freaking tried to rip her limbs off and then went after Cassie. Because the thing is that that's how the Mimic kills people. It rips your arms off, then your head.
Yeah, it's just pure violence, and it has the strength to do it.
It glory kills you. It freaking glory kills you.
It does like a Doomslayer kill, yeah.
I'm putting Roxy at 80% because she's the first one that comes to mind, and her ruined version is just flat out 100%.
Yeah.
You cannot convince me otherwise. She dies. She dies if you pee on her. There is nothing left.
So, Chica is an interesting case because full of trash. However, it feels pretty clear that that trash has taken a toll on her.
It's damaging her. 40% because her normal variant is 0%. And she's so psychologically damaged, she would not care. Here's the thing about, like, the freaking glam rocks. They are so... Their mental damage varies so freaking much. It's like, for, like, Freddy and, like, Roxy, they are there a lot more than freaking Chica and Montgomery.
Yeah, actually, that is true. They're so person, and then Chica is so not. That's actually a good point.
She is nothing. She is nothing. So I'm gonna put.
They just didn't give her a personality. That's unfortunate.
I'm gonna put Shattered Chica at like 50, maybe.
Yeah, let's say that.
And her ruined variant at 80.
Yeah, let's say that.
Undeniably. Montgomery is definitely a 20%er, but 60-80%er on ruined. 20%.
I feel 20%? Like it might be more of a chance. I could imagine peeing on him and then he just kind of stops.
I mean, he's a rabid dog at this point. He's not gonna freaking know how to attack. 80%er actually is ruined. Frick me, his ruined version looks so bad. He's probably getting 100% inherently.
Yeah.
What do we think? Tired.
Yeah. You know, I'm just thinking about it again. Ruin really, for the characters specifically, it's seeing them that messed up. It's so, like, messed up, but also it's such cool designs.
Yeah, they have good designs.
Mm.
And then we have Fazcock.
So, you're losing your Pinor tier.
I guess. It's... I don't know. 80% maybe? It's a proto model.
It is a proto. There's a lot of open.
Yeah.
But I also feel like he feels like a scary tank. So, like, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe 60, 50%? What are we thinking?
Yeah, 50 or 60.
Yeah, let's put him at 50. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. This is such a weird tier list.
This is...
And then there's...
really
okay, first things first. Let's do Vanny. Alright, Vanny's done.
Yeah, we'll be disturbed. Yeah, that's fair, that's fair.
Second is Mimic. Now, do you want to take into account Secret of the Mimic with this, or...?
Yes, and, so Mimic is by far the definition of you will literally only make things worse. Well, actually, wait. Never mind, because it's been around people, and it may have learned to be disturbed by that. Maybe.
If someone did it before, it probably will traumatize it. We taught it trauma. We taught it psychological trauma.
I mean, the reason it kills is because it was taught abuse and pain, and so therefore it does that like 3 times as bad.
Oh, in that case, it pees on you. It pees on you.
It also could do that. That's what I was gonna say. It could also be. That's why my original thought was it could be that it literally only makes things worse, because that's why it's the Mimic. Everything it does is because someone did something sort of like that in the past, and it's taking it to the 11 with no thought process as to why that's like evil.
This is what I'm supposed to do. This is my job. I must pee on people. I'm putting that.
Can we give it? Can we give it a tier list that is just like arrows up and down in between? You will only make things worse, and wait. Won't malfunction, but will be disturbed. Yeah.
Yeah. I think,
it's both of those, or at least one or the other. Yeah.
Oh no, that's too bad looking.
Oh.
No!
That was the wrong one.
What color was this again?
Good question.
Let me look at this. Why? Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. If we don't have a stream on Twitch, we don't have a stream on Twitch. I don't give a crap. Okay. I don't know. What's the stream on YouTube? What's the stream on YouTube? I screwed up. I need to fix this now. Where is you will only make things worse? It's cyan. It's cyan. You will only make things worse. It's cyan.
Okay.
Good. And this one is just gonna be pitch white. This is the most unhinged tier list ever, and we aren't done yet! We're not stopping there! We need to get frickin' Glamrock Body in. Are there any characters that you want added to this tier list?
Me, no.
Alright, well, we still need Glamrock Bonnie, so...
Hold on. I'm gonna look for popular fan characters for a second.
I mean, we could take into account the fan vote.
Chipper and Sons.
Oh yeah, crap. Why, yeah, okay. Give me a second. I'm going to... I want to add a few people. I want to add, okay, Glamrock Bonnie is added. Are there any characters that we feel like are missing from this list?
What?
Oh yeah, there we are, that's much better. Utter coin flip between the one above and the one below. I love the idea that peeing on the Mimic either traumatizes it, makes it run away, or just means it'll rip your schlong off just so it can pee on you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
please,
that's the Mimic for you.
Wait, no, we need to get Toohee watching this. Why have we not gotten Toohee watching this?
Oh, I'm gonna send this.
Now!
Send
the stream to her. Like, either now or later or something.
I feel like it's too late. We've already...
That's fair. We kind of have to sit through the completed stream. We need someone to edit this video. I refuse to let it fall into the dump known as, like, the videos I forgot to edit. We need Robin or Moffy editing this now.
I'm making at least one clip of this so that I can get a joke of mine shown to people.
Yeah, okay. What else do we need to...
Without them being turned off by the title and, like, you know...
Yeah.
Like no one being willing to watch full streams anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't have the audience for that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Michael Afton! We need to add Michael Afton!
So, do you think he would be disturbed like other humans? Or do you think he's just going to crowbar you?
I think I'm gonna cry laughing. I think I might actually start crying. I'm thinking Michael goes in the same tier as the Mimic. I'm thinking he just does. Because either
Wait,
he
that
would
actually... that makes perfect sense. Yeah, that's literally...
And frickin' Body, we're putting Body at 100% because he's already dead. You can't make things worse for him.
That's how he really died.
That's...
we figured out the lore, folks. Make sure to credit this stream from now on. The Body got peed on theory.
I can't.
It was the mimic. The mimic learned to pee, and he did it.
Oh gosh. Can we take a BRB so I can take a pee break and actually think of, like, more characters that we can add to this? Because we need to, like, make sure we get a full comprehensive list.
Weeze peed it.
Oh gosh. Anyways, yeah, you want to set the BRB or?
Sure.
I'm gonna BRB. Oh gosh, I need to take a whiz. Like, actually freaking need to pee. This isn't a kink, by the way. Do not mistake the freaking natural urge to take a whiz as a fetish.
Yeah. No, at least I ain't like that.
Neither am I. We just think that pee is funny. That's it. We aren't aroused by it.
And now we will say this 12 more times until it gets very suspicious.
Yeah. Anyways, I'll be back.
Gotta win. I can't sell wet water. Well, that's cringe. I guess I can't sell wet water. That's highly unfortunate. I can only use it for an ocean ending. Ocean ending. I could have sworn. Could have swear. Swell. Oh. And the tea, I go back to the tea, I gotta do the tea. I'm pretty sure I have a one up right here. Swoop. Go back to get that. Time to fig. Oh. There we go.
Okay, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thanks. Alright. So now here's the big problem. I don't think we have enough characters in this tier list. I think we need to add even more.
But of course.
So the question is, who are we missing from this?
Willie Mafton when he was alive.
Just as a gag, yeah, I think he'd be genuinely disturbed by that. Would he be a coin flip like Michael Afton?
Phone guy phone.
Nah.
With a yes.
As funny as that would be, I want to like try to keep human characters off this tier list. I want to like focus primarily on like actual enemies in the series.
I can't really think of that much that is like official I'd want. What do you want to put in FNaF World?
No, FNaF World wouldn't make sense.
I mean, I feel like we pretty much got everything.
I think we did too, yeah, that's the thing. Do we think this is like the final tier list?
It might be the final count.
Might be, yeah. This is the most nonsensical, erratic, and schizophrenic tier list I think anyone's ever come up with.
Correct.
Half of this isn't even like freaking malfunctioning animatronics. Half of this is even like animatronics like a potential to malfunction. Oh my gosh, I just realized. Okay, here's the thing. This is important. Okay, get this. I can probably attempt to generate a percentage chance that peeing on an animatronic would work in the series.
No, we can't be going that. We're gonna did the simulations.
I can run the simulations. I can run based off of like the math we have, how likely peeing on an animatronic would actually successfully defend you.
Yo, it's like the terminal montage Pokemon.
Yeah.
Tournaments.
The question is, do we want to keep the I think we'll keep the nightmares out. But there's so much of this is dedicated to like we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiers that are just 0% malfunction rate, but in different wording. Like, genuinely. That is like 6 tiers to add together. I can assure you the percentage is likely going to be less than 50%. Probably going to be less than 10% if you ask me.
No, I kind of like it being goofy and messy like this.
Yeah.
I feel like it makes the most sense.
I do too. However, I do want to genuinely run the numbers.
Gotta have the distinctions.
So, 2, 4. Okay, so I want to.
2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate?
7 plus 2 plus 4 plus. Do we exclude Vanny and Michael?
We could. How about how
Because what
the
if focus is just the
current
robots, not just like the human ones? What do we?
how the current tier list is should at least be like saved. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I'm saving it. I just want to run the math.
Okay. I mean, if we're just going chance to break down, then that
No. I better not have this
humans.
freaking wiped. Do not wipe my tier list. Thank you. Holy crap, I thought this would actually get wiped out. Okay, we lost Michael Afton and, Bonnie. But they were kind of bloating the list anyways as, like, gag characters, I guess. Bonnie, I will, make sure to include, I guess. But Michael, yeah, we need him out because he's not valid of a number. Because if we're doing this based off of, like, robots, I think we should actually account for legitimate threats. So, okay. So, 1, 3, okay, 1, 3, and then 3, 6, 9, 11. Oh, that's not even accounting for the 0%ers. 1, okay, 3, 6, 9, 12, 14.
9, 6, 9.
Do we account for... Do we add trash to the game to this? Or do we keep them out of the...
I don't feel like they really are really involved.
In that case, that just brings that down to 10. Alright, so we'll keep trash in the gang out for now.
Yeah. They don't seem very applicable.
Okay, add row below. Exclude from percentage count. Okay, do I add help me a map up to count?
You're getting the mean percentage, okay.
Yeah, I wanna like get a good average for like how likely peeing will help you in the series.
Okay.
With some albeit jank math. But like, I want to account for actual potential threats. I need to remove the cupcakes as well, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're bloating the list.
I definitely feel like it heavily depends on which game, because it really is like every game feels like it has like one character that's quite the outlier, but then 90% of the cast is like pretty much more or less the same percentage. And that, it just makes sense. Like, that's just how they were designed.
Yeah. That's sort of the
So
thing. I
really
want to, like,
depends.
focus on, like, actual animatronics that can hamper you or accidentally kill you. So with a bit of jank math that I'm using to exclude people from the percentage, that's 2 plus 4 plus 7 plus 1 plus 3 plus 10 plus 9, for a total of a whopping 36 animatronics that peeing on would not help you survive. 36. And I'm going to do us a favor on the math. Do I account for Candy Cadet, or actually no, I'm excluding him because he's not a threat. Just for the sake of my sanity.
Oh yeah, that makes sense actually.
Why the frick are you here? I thought I removed you!
That's a good sentence.
Okay. Crap. I don't wanna bother adding the nightmares to the final count. Do I add them to the final count?
Try it with and without.
Okay, gosh, this is gonna be a nightmare. Okay, fitting for the nightmares, but
Yeah.
we have 36 total. Do I just leave the spring suits at 100%? Because they're not gonna attack you unless they're in spring suit form.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you might as well.
For the sake of my sanity, I'll leave them at 100%. I love how Mr. Hippo is only malfunctions after the rant.
Yeah. I mean, he's Mr. Hippo.
You can't stop him. You can't stop him. Oh, gosh. Okay. So we have added together the animatronics that will not have a risk of being damaged from being peed on. Now we have to add together the animatronics that will be. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 as our starter. plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 from the 40 percenters. Plus 6 from the 50 percenters. Ignoring the nightmares for now. 3 from the 60 percenters. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 from the 80 percenters, and 5, 6, 7 from the 100 percenters for a whopping 52 on the ones that are technically vulnerable. This altogether, with the math, gives us on this list a whopping 88 animatronics we're accounting for.
Voice clip, that's a lot.
A lot. So, excluding the nightmares for the sake of my sanity, dividing the final total by 88, and taking the more erratic total, we have to multiply these by their percentage values. 7 by 100%, so we have to take 14, multiply that by 0.2. Multiply the 9 by 0.4. Multiply the 6 by 0.5. Multiply the 3 by 0.6. And multiply the 13 by 0.8. That gives us a whopping 0.325, which, multiplied by 100, gives us 32.5% survival chance when peeing on an animatronic. That's a lot higher than I was thinking. Wow.
32.5?
Yeah, 32.5. That is higher than I was thinking. That's nearly a 1/3 chance of survival if you pee on an animatronic.
That's crazy.
That's actually really crazy.
So now you know, kids, if you ever find yourself...
Jarate's a valid tactic. Valid tactic. Of course, a lot of these are very circumstantial, and a lot of these are up to heavy speculation. So if you are watching one of these streams, I would actually heavily encourage you to have some discourse in the comments below if you could. In fact, if anything, I heavily encourage you to, because this is one of those few times where I genuinely want answers to this. As stupid of a question as this is, I actually genuinely want some serious answers.
We must know.
Oh yeah, we have to account for the nightmares too. If I'm gonna add the nightmares to the equation, what percentage should I give them? 60%? Or 0%?
Just say 60.
We'll estimate say 60, so we'll add them to the 60% tier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's 11, and that's 12 total, so I'll add that to the final count. Plus 12. And adding them to the 60% tier list, that is 3 plus 12. That actually increases the odds of an animatronic malfunction by peeing on them, increasing that percentage from 32.5% to 35.8% actually. So adding them to the calculations actually increases their likelihood of malfunctioning.
Yeah, because I did a bunch of 60%, but also that means between the both of those, it is just a 1/3 chance, just straight up.
Straight up a 1/3 chance. If you're cornered, listen, I'm gonna be real with you. You're basically running a worse version of Democracy Protects. A much worse version. Because if you're doing this tactic, it's your last resort, or you're drunk. Either you're panicking and you can't aim straight, or you are very drunk and can't aim straight.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the kicker. So as it is right now,
this was a good stream, folks. This was a good stream.
This was a really good stream. Now, I would like to actually do something funny. Could we? No, ramen seems super goobers, of course. I would like to see if we can actually get some people in here to do the tier list something. So like rank our tier list. Bobby had like no interest in showing up on stream, but I don't care.
Yeah, we could ask the fans.
I feel like my math is still probably a little bit off, and I feel like I might be overestimating the effectiveness of being on an animatronic. Then again...
Oh, like, for sure, but...
yeah. I feel like I probably shouldn't, like, have the nightmares...
But there's a reality out there where it works.
It works.
For
I'm
like,
going to be honest, on, like, some of the higher ones, if you know what you're doing, I'm going to say on, like, the higher ones, like the 100% malfunction rates and the, from 60 to 100, excluding the nightmares, I feel like that's a valid, that peeing on them, that's a valid course of action. You can do that and get away, because 90% of the time, they will probably malfunction in some way that you can use to get out just scot-free. If you're being attacked by one of the, frickin', funny boys, mediocre melodies, or any of the endoskeletons, or a few of the wizards, I will admit that your best course of action is probably just throwing some soda on them. Or setting off the fire alarm and setting the sprinklers off.
No, but P is funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, I just realized that this tier list might be very bad because I just realized that frickin', fire sprinklers.
Oh yeah, other liquids exist. Oh. But how does it fare against an animatronic?
Gosh, now I have to like genuinely, because here's the thing, I used Freddy as like the main buffer. So if I shove if I shove him down, that means Chica gets pushed to 20%, and a lot of these others get pushed to 20%. And like, these 60%ers likely become 50%ers, and these 80%ers become 60%ers. The 100%ers stay the same, because ain't no way they're surviving, but... Actually, no, I don't even think the 80%ers we pulled down, just the 60%ers maybe? But some of the 80%ers might be pulled down to 60%ers, like the Endos, but not the Wizards. Security probably would be pulled down, but the, mediocre melodies and the, the Shattereds, they're likely not getting pulled down. That's kind of the thing. Freddy Fazbear is fundamentally the core of this frickin' tier list.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I need to go over all this and just go, would this animatronic be more likely to function? Okay, now I have to actually sit down and go, would this animatronic be more likely to malfunction than Freddy Fazbear? Would this animatronic be less likely to malfunction than Freddy Fazbear? Because that's the core of this list.
My thought is, I feel like I'm ready to go from the VC.
I think I may have actually broke you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man.
No, maybe, but also we've been here a while.
We've been here a while. We haven't even been here the full 2 hours for. Wait, no, we have been here for the full 2 hours. I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, we have, and also I don't know. I feel like I'm mostly satisfied with it. You know what I mean?
I'm
that's satisfied
fair.
enough.
I wanna try to strive for perfection, though.
Yeah.
But I wanna like. I know that perfect's the opposite of good and perfect's the opposite of complete.
Yeah.
But I am curious. Do I feel like that some of these are more resilient than Freddy? To like, just general water. Like water in terms of malfunctioning. Not 3 subs special. I will pee myself in a FNaF fursuit right now. Edison, we're already at 20 subs. Are you coming out as a furry?
I feel like with some of his drawings, he'd have to come out as not a furry.
He's both. He's both.
He's both, yeah.
Okay, here's the thing.
Not the drawings, actually. More like the characters. But then again, that's mostly
Edison
D&D.
clarified that he's peeing right now.
Right this instant.
Hey,
Thank you, Edison.
Yeah, amazing, Edison. Freaking top tier, just top tier. This is arguably the most deranged stream I think we've ever had.
What exploded?
Well, I guess it's just me. This is arguably the most unhinged and deranged stream that I will ever freaking come up with, and I love it. I love it so much. This is the best thing ever. And I think I'm very content with this list. Because I think... Oh god, I just realized I screwed up! Do I leave the cupcake in or out? Cause I... No, frick! Wait! Dang it, I ruined the numbers! I have to recalculate! Dang it! Okay, crap, that's bad. I don't think we have more of a 4 shorts 3 months ago. What? Okay, freaking piece of crap. Okay, I think I need to unfrick this. This is bad. My numbers are wrong. So, for the nightmares... Had the cupcake with Chica, so that's 40%. That takes a hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Okay, I have the final numbers all set up and all assembled. For what this tier list says, a bit more corrected because I've removed all the cupcakes and due to Pan's messages on DMs, I have fixed this. Without counting for the nightmares, we are at a 32.41% chance of survival. Accounting for the nightmares, we are at a 35.51% survival.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Maltha, you literally just came in at the end of the stream.
Alright, what's the end list look like?
Yeah, I can show you, mate. This is the ending list. As in, like, let me send it to you. Actually, I just downloaded it with, like, the more correct stuff. Let me actually open it, if I can. My image 1. Open with Opera GX. Here we are. This is the full tier list. Where do you want to start?
Top to bottom.
Okay, at 100% malfunction. By the way, here's the thing. I actually took this very seriously and actually tried to, like, focus on, like, trying to get genuine answers out of this.
Is the stream still going, by the way? Or am I allowed to say what I want?
Yeah, stream's still going. Don't worry.
Alright, I'll bite my tongue then and not say anything racist.
Up here we have Springtrap, Mangle, Peanut Head, Shattered Roxy, Shattered Montgomery, and Shattered Bonnie at the top. Basically, if you pee on them, they will malfunction, no matter what. we're at 80%. We have some of the endoskeletons. We have security puppet. We have like we have Withered Foxy and Withered Bonnie.
You know
Also,
Montgomery's underwater, right?
I hate my life.
His boss fight takes place underwater. You have to kill him by turning on an electrical panel to shock him because he's underwater, right? He should be at 0. Alright, I'll go leave the stream, I'm sorry. I come in for 2 seconds! You're wrong!
This is how it feels to make FNaF theories. I just took my freaking food off of my desk, just the head desk.
Good job. So, what's the reliability of the rest of this? I'm fucking sorry.
No,
I come in for 2 seconds. Hold up. Doesn't his fight take place underwater? He should be at 0% malfunction.
Sooner? We needed you while we were assembling this list.
I was busy beating on. I was doing better things.
Better things, okay.
Like watching Matt Pat's full FNaF video and watching him slowly become more deranged as the videos go on.
Yeah, I think this stream started deranged. Anyways, disregarding Montgomery, any iteration of Montgomery, surprisingly we got him right with his non-shattered variant at 0%. Okay.
No, his non-shattered would be at like the low 20s.
Actually,
hold up. Yeah, no, in that case, hold up. Here's the thing. If he's waterproof inherently, like their fight takes place underwater, all of the animatronics from the same series would be at 0% because it doesn't matter how damaged they are. They seem to have waterproof electronics. Therefore, all versions of them would be at 0%.
Why didn't you come in sooner? That's a good point, though.
I'm so sorry.
No,
that would also go for
fine.
Glamrock Freddy, Glamrock Bonnie. All the Glamrock series would be at 0%. All of them.
Gosh, that's a good point.
No matter how damaged they are, they would all be at 0 because inherently they appear to have a waterproof electronics.
I don't know if that's inherently just a Montgomery thing or not. Then again, the frickin' Rockstar.
Montgomery was made as a golf course animatronic. There should not be any water outside of the small ponds, but even then, I would argue that any other animatronic would have a higher chance of getting a drink spilled on them, like Rockstar Chica, who inherently would drink soda, therefore their electronics would risk getting more soaked. They would be more waterproof than Montgomery, therefore they would be at 0%.
That's fair. I think at some point in this tier list, this devolved a lot less from would peeing on them stop them, and a lot more into how likely are they to malfunction. Then again, we have a literal dedicated tier for you will only make things worse by peeing on them. We have a dedicated tier for that.
Here's the thing, by doing that, you inherently are betting on the stream and not getting fried right back to you.
Oh yeah, no, I needed this. I needed this, because this is the most schizophrenic stream ever, and some sobriety when it comes to this just makes it funnier. Okay, so the Withereds are still in a valid spot. Eddie, do the Endos count? Do the freaking Rockstar Endos count in terms of like throwing the Rockstars down, or not?
No, they're replacements for the Rockstars. Yes, they'd also be waterproof. Okay. They're made just in case the Rockstars break down. They can just take the shell off and put it on another Endo and stick that on stage. They'd also be at 0%.
Okay, so those would be at 0%, assumedly from your tiering.
Every Rockstar animatronic is at 0.
Every Rockstar is at 0. What about
no matter
the
how
mediocre
damaged.
melodies? The thing is about the mediocre melodies is that Pan brought up they were just powered by a car battery, so if you know where to pee, that's a good chance of malfunctioning. Because you just short.
In that case, they go off normal animatronic logic. Yeah. If you spill your drink on them, you'll probably short-circuit them right then and there. Look at Disney animatronics. Those shits break down all the time, even without anything happening. They just break down.
Hippo's in the 80% territory, but he has a special exclusion for only malfunctioning after his rant, because that's his literal gimmick. We have the spring suits, and they're a really unique case, because I brought up, we're going to have to account for them being used as spring suits and being used as animatronics. How likely are they to malfunction if they're, like, being used as an animatronic? How likely are they to malfunction if they're being used as a spring suit?
As an animatronic, they'd short-circuit 100% of the time. As a spring lock, they'd short-circuit 100% of the time. Water causes the spring locks to set in. Water would cook the animatronic, because Springtrap's able to move around freely inside of the animatronic suit. Therefore, the AI is probably cooked in it.
That is fair.
Otherwise, he'd be hard-locked in the same location, which he has full mobility, and therefore, there's no AI, there's no animatronic. That got cooked too. Both are dead.
Okay, that's actually a really good point. Thank goodness I left them at 100% during my calculations.
Animatronic at least 60%, it'd be at 100.
That's fair. We have 60% for Foxy, Withered Freddy, and, Eclipse. Any thoughts?
All the withered animatronics would be at 80 or higher.
That's fair.
Because of the fact that they're not meant to have drinks spilled on them and they're damaged.
That's actually a good point. The thing is...
Nightmares don't exist, so they're at 0. Nightmares do not exist.
That's the thing. I had to account for the idea that they might actually exist and might be illusion disc tech. That's why they have a tier list of their own. I'd leave them in, physically intangible, or...
Trash and the Gang are not animatronics, they are props. They would not fry, they have no electronics.
That's why they're at 0%. Except for the vacuum cleaner. The vacuum cleaner is the only exception.
I've dumped drinks on a vacuum before. As long as you don't get it on the power socket, you're fine. So it would technically be at 0 unless you got water on the outlet.
That's still a percentage chance. I know these are, heavily abbreviated, but that's still a 20%er. I'm just gonna leave them there. The issue
also,
is that,
Funtime animatronics are technically both high and low because they don't function normally. They're possessed, which means,
That's the issue. Right, that's the thing. The fun times are
Here's where I have to throw my hands up so damn high they might as well touch the fucking clouds. All of them, if I'm aware, a good chunk, not almost all of them are possessed, which means if you cook the electronic, they'd still function. So where are we going off? Them getting hurt or them dropping dead? Because here's where the fun times come in. If you spill your drink on a Funtime animatronic, it's gonna get cooked right on the spot, 100%. Is it gonna die? No, 0, because it's possessed. It doesn't need to be on to kill you.
At least the good news on that front is that at least they would be guaranteed a short circuit, but at the same time...
It does fuck all, because Baby deactivated herself and yet still attacked.
Yeah, that's through inner, technically. Which is like 3/4 of the whole mass. Still, that's a good point.
Baby, yeah, but still, it's just... Would they short circuit? Yes, almost all the animatronics in the series would. It'd be a big gap between. Almost all of them would be at 80, and the other half would be at 20, because it'd be really hard to do an in between.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that it's just, well, are you trying to short circuit them, or are you just trying to shut them off, or just
That's kind of the thing.
Kill
How
them?
likely are you to get a good short circuit in? What are your thoughts on the toys, by the way? Because we left them at 0%.
A Balloon Boy could short circuit if you dump your drink on them.
That's fair. At the same time, he's constructed the
All
same way
of
as
them
the
are-
rest of them.
Roughly 20. They'd be at roughly 20. The toy animatronics would be at roughly 20, excluding Trash and the Gang.
Yeah, excluding Trash in the Game. The reason we put the toys at 0% is that they're constructed vastly differently than Freddy & Co. Their joints are a lot less exposed in terms of their arms and legs. They're a lot less vulnerable. I get why you put them at 20, though. That's actually...
Phantoms do not exist.
Oh yeah, they're already in physically intangible. Already done. Believe me.
Scroll down a bit. Won't malfunction, but will be disturbed. Won't malfunction. Vanny is not an animatronic.
Yeah, I know.
Also, technically all, security breach animatronics would fall under won't malfunction because, they're waterproof inherently, apparently.
Yeah, they just go at 0%.
Montgomery.
We have Montgomery and frickin', we already have Montgomery and, Chica. Non-Shadows. The Shadows we handle differently, and that's
Utter
really
coin
cool.
flip between above and below. Technically they'd fall under 0 because they're possessed.
That's the thing. That's... The everything below here is literally already 0%. It's just 0% in a funny way. That's the thing. Here's the thing about the Mimic. We clarify. Mimic's actually the reason that this tier exists. Specifically because either it's learned to fear urine and runs away, or it's learned that peeing on people is something it can do, so it'll just rip your schlong off and use it on you.
I can't tell if you're calling them a dumbass or if you're calling them smart. Either way, it's just, they're possessed. Short-circuiting them does nothing. Puppet is not an animatronic in the way of like traditional. It still uses puppet strings. It's able to move because it is possessed.
I think
there is no electronics inside of Puppet. I'm really sure.
There's a reason that this one scares me to think about, and that you will literally only make things worse. Tears exist.
XQC does not exist. Nightmare Puppet does not exist.
Here's the thing. Pan brought up some evidence for Nightmare. Well, Nightmare Puppet shows up in freaking Help Wanted. XQC, Pan cited the books.
Nightmare Puppet isn't fucking canon. Scott Cawthon said himself. Here's the thing. Nightmare Puppet and Nightmare Mangle are not fucking canon.
That's fair. It's just freaking...
So they do not exist. Double. They do not exist. Also, the one to the right, I do not know who that is. That's a 100%. He is not possessed. He would short circuit on the spot.
Yeah, Pan told me to put him there because Yendo actually scared him, and I didn't want to think about Yendo being canon. Yendo just scared both of us.
Yendo would short circuit. Helpy would short circuit. Mapbot would short circuit.
Yeah, Mapbot. Yeah, Helpy is Helpy. Thing is about the toys is that we went off their construction, which is why they're the way that they are.
I hate to be the person on the fact of I stepped into this chat and proceed to call all of this almost entirely wrong, but at the same time, I could, if you want to someday, I could go through here and just redo the. Also,
no, please do, please do. I'd like
the virus blocker guy that does not. Yeah, physically intangible. Yeah, same there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. I kind of did physically intangible.
Lolbit is a computer virus.
Lolbit's a mess, so that's why they're physically intangible. Frickin', there's a lot
Technically, they're at 100% because they're a computer virus. If you do that on a PC, you'll probably short-circuit it.
Well, I mean, you could do the same for Glitch Trap, too.
Yes!
Yeah, and you could also do the same for freaking, mixes. But in terms of, like, actually, like, them showing up, it's weird. They're in, like, area. That's the issue.
Well, they don't show up. There's the problem. They don't show up in, like, face-to-face.
That's the problem. I will admit, the only reason that Withered Chica's at 50%, she probably should be at 60 or 80. I will admit that. However, the issue with the Chica models is because of the survival handbook, it's implied that they're waste disposal, which means they're likely more resilient to, the nitty dirt, grime, and water that you'd be dealing with. The weird thing is about, like, Toy Chica's positioning is that I will admit this, it's explicitly because the beak removal feature does not seem like an intended feature. It seems more like a design flaw. So if her beak
The removable beak was made for assembly purchases. It's like if you had an animatronic chair that took off the back part. It's not meant to do that, but you perfectly can and not damage the model.
That's fair. It just seems like a leakage issue. But bringing that up does show...
Well, no, the reason why Chica's beak comes off is because, remember, Chica's fucking massive. When you buy her, she comes in like 8 different boxes from IKEA. The beak is probably a separate box. The fact she can pull off her beak is like the fact that Springtrap could pull off his head.
That's actually a good
It's not intended, but you can because it's like building a computer. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You can unscrew the panel on your PC, Chica can unscrew her beak.
It
doesn't harm them, it just is something they're able to do. Not intended, but can happen.
Yeah, what I mean is that, like, that's just a way that P can get in. That's what I mean. But that still applies to the rest of the toys in terms of construction, so that's actually...
Well, here's the thing. The rest of the toys are meant to hang around children. Children are notorious for dumping their drinks on fucking everything, which they do because I have a brother who dumps his drink on fucking everything.
That's
all of them would have to have a bit more water resilience because of the fact that the old animatronics were not made to walk around, they were meant to sit on a stage.
Yeah.
Implies that they were not meant to get within any distance of liquid, while the toy animatronics were actually made to interact with kids, thus making them more susceptible to having a drink spilled on them, thus giving the need of them needing more to be more waterproof.
That's actually exactly why we put the toys in the 0% tier.
Yes, they would be lower. Not at 0, but definitely lower.
Yeah.
If you hit them with the hose, you'll eventually get something. You'll flood them.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite things that Pan brought up was specifically, Lefty. Because he brought up that that they will shut
Mangle
down.
would be insanely waterproof. Here's the problem. Mangle would be insanely waterproof because the fact that they're meant to be dismantled, thus implying the fact of, yes, while dismantling them, you're probably going to dump a drink on something important. The entire thing of Mangle is probably extremely waterproof. If not, it has 1,000 kill switches. So Mangle would be more waterproof than every other animatronic.
I'm gonna have to call bullcrap on that. I'm sorry.
Alright, explain.
Here's the thing. Mangle wasn't originally intended as a put-together take-apart attraction. The kids just did that, so they just went, screw it, fine, whatever, and just let the kids do that. That isn't their original purpose. You're assuming that's their original purpose and that they would have these kill switches in place.
Mangle was not meant to be a take-apart... Okay, oh god, fuck me. Okay, that's... okay, I hate the FNaF lore on this part. In that case, all the toy animatronics would have that done to them at one point, because here's the problem. You don't think an employee would come over and slap the little shit on the wrist and go, don't fucking do that? Don't... Because here's the thing, if a kid puts his hand inside of an animatronic and shocks the shit out of himself, that falls on the employee.
That's the issue. That's the thing. I guess you could make a case for, like, the others, in the sense of, Mangle was primarily in Pirates Cove. That's the thing. They were in a more isolated area compared to the rest, but that's just discussing FNaF lore.
Cameras, here's the problem.
Cameras, yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's is an attraction that's notorious for being very legally, distant in the fact of it's never our fault. So they would constantly have cameras everywhere. Because here's the thing. There's a camera into Foxy's Cove, correct?
Yeah, there is, and yeah.
Well, then yeah, the guard, the people running the attraction while during the day would use that as legal grounds on the fact of we are not liable. Your little shit took apart the animatronic. That's
fair.
where I have to go. Okay, that's fucking stupid because
then again,
they would not allow that to happen in canon. They would not allow anyone to dismantle the animatronics because if they do, that's more liability on them. I think I'd rather take the lawsuit for slapping the little shit on the wrist because he was going to kill himself instead of letting him die and then having to fight that legal battle of we're not liable.
Fazbear's is just inherently weird. Let's just be real on that front. We'll disregard that for now. Because that's a whole new conversation. But you still bring up a good...
Listen, because this is one of the few times I'm going to go ahead and say I'm right, the game is wrong, because they wouldn't do that.
Well, in that case...
It's too much liability. It's too much liability on them.
Well, I hate saying it, but if I'm right and the game is wrong rules, then everything's at 100% because I'm right and the game is wrong.
Well, it's just... It's like if...
I'm not being pedantic.
It's like if William Afton sat down with a child and had pity on him and decided to take care of him. It's kind of like that, where it's like, no, he wouldn't do that. No, Five Nights at Freddy's, the attraction, would not have the wherewithal to do something like that because they'd get sued. Which, I'm going to be honest, the entirety of Pizzaplex, or not Pizzaplex, well, no, yeah, Pizzaplex included, but the entirety of an entire game is quite literally built around the basis of not getting fucking sued.
Yeah, well, the Pizzaplex threw that out the window, but Pizzeria Sim had that entirely based
Yeah, Pizzeria Sim.
But even then...
Yeah, Pizza Sim has an entire concept around not getting sued. I'm pretty sure Five Nights at Freddy's would also want to not get sued because that's just so much liability. Being ignorant of the fact of someone's someone's damaging your products, and you're doing nothing to either fix them or pull them out of service to just put them in a closet. You're just letting them get damaged. Legally, that's on you.
That's fair. That is on them, but that is a good point, and I will admit that is completely fair and a good critique of FNAF's lore. However, I hate being that kind of person. I kind of fail to see how that impacts Mangle's placement on the tier list.
It doesn't necessarily impact Mangle's tier list. It's just the fact of...
Gripe.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fair. Then that's fine. I'm not trying to shame you for that. I think that's a fair gripe to have. My issue is just I don't see how that applies to the list. But that's still a good critique to have. Crap, is there anything else I can ever say to talk about? Gosh, a lot of this stuff is, like, just really weird. Because you bring up the frickin'... You bring up how the frickin', fun times are, like, simultaneously 100% and 0% at the same time. As in, they will malfunction. That malfunction won't matter. Because they're, like, already malfunctioning as is.
I don't think the toy animatronics are possessed. That's the thing.
No, I mean the fun times, not the toys. I mean frickin' baby, not frickin' Shingo.
Yeah, the fun time animatronics are possessed. It doesn't matter if you short circuit them. They can still hunt you down.
Yeah, it's just that doesn't matter. And at the same time,
would they short circuit? Yes. Would it do anything? No.
The issue is that, like, we have to account for this as well with freaking Blob and, like, frickin' Molten Freddy. I will admit, I think Scrap Baby's the one I have, like, the least satisfaction in the tier list with, because she's at 40%, but in reality, given what you said, she should probably be more at 20% due to the wear and tear she's endured in the elements.
Well, here's the thing with the Scrap animatronics. They're at 100%, but it does nothing because they've been outside in the rain. Anything that would have short-circuited is already blown. And yet they still function.
That's fair, yeah.
They're possessed. They need to be possessed to function. They're at 100%, but it does nothing.
Yeah, it's like 100% and 0% at the same time. That's sort of the issue. And
It's
that falls
its own
into
tier list, 100%, but does nothing.
I should have, yeah, actually, that would be a good overhaul to the tier list, actually. 100% but does nothing would be great for the tier list, actually. Here's the thing. I don't know if that applies to frickin', frickin' Scrap Trap, or Scrap Spring Trap, or whatever the frick you call him. I don't know if that applies to him either.
Scrap Trap is not an animatronic in the fact of he's electrical. That's a person in a suit.
Yeah, possessed, but still, the spring locks are still present and can still be triggered.
They've already set off.
Well, that doesn't mean they can't be re-triggered again, because he's still moving about. There's a chance that one got
Well, no,
reset.
dog, it's kind of like firing a magnum and then just holding the trigger and expecting it to go off again. You would have to rewind. Here's the thing, take into account how a spring lock suit needs to reset.
That's
You
fair,
have to
actually.
tighten the screws inside of it to reset them. Spring Trap doesn't reset his screws because it set off the device again.
That's
So
fair.
no, it's like think of it like a magnum that you have to pull back the hammer to fire again, and then just re-pulling the trigger. Nothing
That's
happens because you haven't primed the magnum. You haven't
That's
primed
actually
the spring locks again. Nothing happens.
Yeah, that's actually really fair. I agree with that. Scrap Trap should probably be moved to like 20%, maybe?
It'd technically be 0.
Yeah, that actually is a good.
They've already there's no electronics
You
in the
can't
suit anyway.
do any more damage that you've already done. This thing was already thrown into a fire. I should have put.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's been thrown into a fire twice. 2,
Yeah.
it's been once actually.
Yeah. I mean,
Any electronics that were in there were cooked to death and were already blown because of the spring lock failure
yeah.
and the water. So yeah, no, there isn't anything left there to cook. That's like taking a burnt PC and trying to dump water on it. Nothing happens.
That's a good gauger. That's a good gauger, actually. Security Puppet, like, endured a lot of wear and tear in the rain, and that thing definitely had malfunctions, so I think it's in a good spot. But again, Charlie Possession.
I don't want to be that person I'd make a really simplified version of this tier list, but
Oh, yeah, no, it's overcomplicated as heck. It's kind of overcomplicated because it's kind of funny. It's too broad and too narrow at the same time. Because I took 0% and broke it up way too freaking much. Cassidy stays where they are because they frickin' are better off and they will only make things worse. Michael was a funny addition. Vanny just kind of was on the list, so she just got shoved into won't malfunction but will be disturbed. here's the thing. We had a really weird conversation about if frickin', like, Bon was inside of, like, frickin', Innard or not. And here's the funny thing, we kind of had to set Innard at 0% because they climbed inside of Michael, an inherently bloody place, and they were perfectly fine and were able to keep up the illusion.
Innard is possessed, he cannot short circuit.
Yeah, that's why Innard's at 0%.
Yeah.
That's kind of the issue. We also kind of just shoved freaking, Candy Cadet in a freaking variable slider of the older he is, he's just more vulnerable to the point where, like, Ruin, you just pee on him and he freaking explodes, practically.
He's already dead.
Literally, yeah. That's why we just shoved him into the variable slider. Probably wasn't vulnerable when he was first bought, but he's so ancient now that, oh, yeah, definitely. Gosh, this tier list is really weird. Honestly, frickin', I'm willing to pass the frickin', like, baton to you, see what you come up with.
I'll do that sometime later here.
Yeah, do that whatever you want. Really, I just want to, like, sort of gauge everything a bit farther. Here's the thing, I will admit this, I think this is, like, the most important question, because this primarily relies on Freddy Fazbear. I decided to use Freddy as, like, the anchor for, like, how the tier list was, and me and Pan kind of agreed to set it at 50%. Because of the Don't Touch Freddy rule and how the FNaF animatronics were treated. In FNaF 1, that is. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think it should be higher, lower, because of the Don't Touch Freddy rule?
He has a don't touch rule for a reason. He'd probably malfunction if you punched him hard enough in the stomach. So he's probably at a high 80, yeah.
High 80. Crap. That means all of these are moved up significantly higher.
Because if we're going off old-style animatronics with the way they move from real life,
yeah,
you could spill your drink on it, it'd shut off right there. It would do nothing. Or nothing good comes of this.
Nothing good comes of that. And that would set Foxy, sadly, at 100%. And that would shove up the Wizards as well. That would adjust the entire tier list. That's why I'm asking. Because if we're moving Freddy...
Yes, it would.
That would shift the entire tier list, because I was using Freddy as an anchor for this.
Yeah, they have a don't touch rule for a reason on the fact of if a kid kicks him hard enough, he'll probably shut off.
Yeah, that shifts the entire freaking tier list.
Or at the same time, is possessed, so 0 because it do nothing.
That's fair. At the same time, we also have to account for the amount of remnant and agony inside of them. That's sort of the kicker. We'd have to deal with that. Which is why Scrap Baby technically is more likely to have a proper malfunction than freaking, Molten Freddy. Because we have to account for, like, agony and remnant as well, which is... Frick me, we did not take into account enough factors making this tier list. We took that into account for frickin' Cassidy with, like, Golden Freddy, but not anyone else. Not as much as we should have. I need to overhaul this list. Frick, man. I'm not even mad. Like, you make a lot of good points. Probably in the future, I'm just gonna, like, simplify this and just make a tier of just won't work. In terms of, like, just 0% will not work. And at the same time, I do need to make the 100% but won't work tier. I just need to simplify this tier list a lot. I think for now, though, I think this is, like, a good point to end off the stream at.
Where I just come in and say the entire fucking thing is wrong and leave.
Yeah, just like the FNaF lore with Scott Coffin.
Where I just come in and say, no, it's all wrong.
It's all wrong. Frickin' scrap it, start over. You get a slap on the wrist and a slap on the face. I'm not even mad, honestly.
A slap on the ego, too.
Nah, I'm not even mad on that front. This is funny. This was a fun tier list to put together.